I am taking over now, but a little bit informal, and I love my stories. So you'll hear a lot of stories, while I deliver this. Now let's talk about the with TAFLA, the TAF Africa Leadership Academy. It's one of the initiatives that we have taken as I go through the last quarter of life. How many of you had heard about my belief on the 4 quarters of life? I've said it over and over and over again, but it's always good to repeat it. I mean, I have a very innovative mind, and I think about life, and when I thought about life, I came up with this to say that, look, life is made up of 4 quarters. Because at the age of 80, you're not part of the equation anymore. Is anybody at 80 here? Doctor, probably you're the only one. Are you 80 yet? Almost. So you see, we only have one person, Dr. Kurang, who's 80, and you are here for a special purpose, because Mansata is around. Isn't it? So you see, this is the reality. Let's just face the reality. At this age, you are no longer part of the equation. So then I peg life at 80. Anything will be extra. So the first quarter is between 0 and 20. 0 and 20, everything you do in your life, they do it for you. Let's think about it. You're going to school, when you were born, and then your parents, your guardians look after you. So you hardly do anything for yourself. Then let's move fast to the second quarter. The second quarter is between 20 and 40. And that's when you start, you start life. You finish up uni, you get married, you start a business, you start work. You're just beginning life. You start making kids and so on. But success never strikes in that quarter. Very few who are extremely lucky, like the Bill Gates and others, can, but that's not the norm. Then the third quarter is between 40 and 60. And that's what I call the break or make it quarter. That's when actually success comes in. I mean, just think about it, and people That's the norm. But now, what happens after the third quarter? That's between 60 and 80. And I'm 62, mashallah. So when I reached 60, I thought, now, what do you do in this quarter? This quarter is about leaving a legacy. So I decided, after a good thought about it, that look, I want to leave a legacy. But leaving a legacy without being a forefront in politics. Because the norm in Africa is that after money, it's power. After power, it's money. You see, these two reverse, or both. People always, when they make so much money, then what next do they think about? Oh, I have to get into power. Or you have to control it to protect your money. The other way is when you have power, when they give you power, instead of working for the people, you start amassing wealth. So I decide not to, and I think that's who I am. I like the freestyle. I mean, Mabuso is shaking his hand. Mabuso, by the way, this guy with the white beard, it's my friend for about 30 years. And I'll tell you about him also. He's also retired. And you know what his passion is? Music. He plays the guitar, and that's why I went to open mic 2 Saturdays ago. I was at open mic. So anyway, so again, that's my personality. And quite a number of times, as we know in this country today, anybody they think that you are successful, they try to get you into politics. So I discuss it openly. And in the media, and the powers that are, that man bread maragal man bokumachi. Choli barina bor bokumachi. I'm not part of it. For those who are in who don't speak Wolof, I get this over and over and over again. People come and interview me. Once you go and throw your hat into the ring. But that's not me. But I can make a difference. And that's what I want these young ones to understand. And a good example today, who a good example is? Usain Bolt. He was the best sprinter, breaking all the records. But what happened? What did he do? He went to play soccer. Had he made any name in it? No. So we must capitalize on our God-given talents. I am an entrepreneur. That's what I know. And I will do everything possible, as you said, to break the glass ceiling, heading to the seventh sky. And that's what I do. So therefore, after reaching 60, wanting to leave a legacy, I thought, look, I need to give back. And, whatever the youth are going through, I've gone through it. We all went through it. So now, how can I use my 45 years experience? This year, I have worked for 45 years. I'm celebrating 30 in business, but I have worked for 45 years. So I would like to share my experience. These kids, they need it. Because some of them, they go astray out of ignorance. They've never had the opportunity to be brought up with key values of life. So I chose leadership. Because today in Africa, the problem we have, we must face it, is leadership. In all aspects. Religion, social, politics, business, is all in one word, leadership. Now, being progressive, I thought, look, let's now set up this Leadership Academy. Fully funded through our foundation, amongst a lot of initiatives that we have. So now, on the Leadership Academy, we identified 7 different subjects, and I will call it out. One was futuristic vision, and again, we identified eminent Gambians that had key competence in these subjects. So we identified futuristic vision, and my brother Mohammed Jagana is here. Can you rise and probably take the front seat here? He gave a lecture on futuristic vision. Then we had Ida Drame, she was here, but I think she's gone back, who gave a lecture on honesty. Then we have my dear sister, Ndeye Aissatou Njai, that gave a lecture on accountability. We had Olidiba Wada, who gave a lecture on empathy. Madame Lucy Fai gave a lecture on confidence. Malik Khan gave a lecture on innovation. And then our Mary, of course, they go together, gave a lecture on empowerment. Sola Mahoney, Sola I think is here also. Sola, can you rise? And Sola gave a lecture on good communicator. Decision making was lectured by Aki Allen. I'm not sure Aki is here. Mr. Aki Allen of Gambia Electrical. Then Ami Bensouda gave a lecture on integrity. Fatou Jang Senghor gave a lecture on commitment. And on passion, I gave the lecture, my humble self. So again, probably let me just reiterate the issue about passion. That whatever I'm doing, because I do have quite a lot of questions on these things that I do. And that's the country we're living in. Some people are hardcore believers that I have an agenda. They cannot understand that we spend this amount of money, time, and energy just for nothing. But it's my passion. It's something that I just love. I just like it. And people don't understand this. They think that everything you have in life, you do in life, you must have something out of it. And what I derive out of it is pleasure. As simple as that. I mean, you've seen my friends here. I've got some friends, highly net worth, big boys, huh? When you say big boys, they are big boys who are here, very discreet because we share certain values. Some are flying in. One of my friends only roams around with private jet. I beg him, please don't come, because you'll bring me noise here. They don't behave like this. Is by the Nigerian angle. I'll give you this story. I walked into one of my bankers in Lagos. You know, and he tried to convince me to finance me to get a PJ. You know what a PJ is, you know? A private jet. I said, please. Me, I am half-die born. We don't know those things, please. You know, can you imagine having a PJ and come landing it in Banjul? I cannot understand. I mean, that's not me. Because what I do is when I get up in the morning, people don't know this. I have people that I really align with. On the beach, I connect with those big boys. I jog every day. I jog and walk every day, 10 kilometers every day in the morning. And when I do, there are boys in the beach there. Once we met up, Mams, you remember? I saw you on the beach also. You know, so I don't buy bottles of water. These rastas and dreads, they call me all sorts of names. You bro nakam you know, and then they give me a bottle of water. Hey, Uncle Taf, you should come here. I call this place, I'm going to call it TAF Africa. You know, people are so hospitable in this country. So for me, when I'm on the beach jogging, I enjoy it. When it's low tide, you know, I go all the way to Tanje and then come back. And these are the things I enjoy. I have another thing that I enjoy, Damabuga Gamo. Man, Gamo Katla. And people don't know this about me. I mean, but this is my passion. General, you know, I go to Ndar every year. Damade Gamo Jibendar. You know, Manma Paseru. And these are the things, Ibuseka, I told him, Noko, I'm the president of the Ibuseka fan club. But we must learn, basically the reason why I'm telling you these things, we must try to identify what our passion is and we enjoy it. These kids that we are bringing up today, that's what we want us to do. Identify your core competence. Identify what you want. What do you love? What do you want to do? And then develop yourself based on that. Not because you want to be identified as the creme de la creme or whatever, but what do you enjoy? I enjoy cutting. You remember, I enjoyed carpentry. That was my passion, and that's what brought me here. Yusundur, who I am in love with. You know, I don't know, and you followed him on his interview recently, what he did, you know, with his new releases. He was actually pointing out what he has achieved through music. Yusundur started as a dropout. He came to Banjul here, he said it, he was sleeping around everywhere. Today he's a big boy influencing world politics. We saw him in the White House with Bush. You saw him with Chirac. He is not at this level who we think he is, not only the mic, but he's influencing important things. So therefore, you can. You can. So these kids here, we have now given them this lecture. I don't want to take over all the show. You know, just to highlight some of the things that had happened. You will see them when they stand up. I think you should just stand up. Let the fellows stand up. These are the TAF Africa fellows. 50 of them, they will come up and receive their certificates. Okay, you can sit down now. There's a commander. It happened actually when I went to Tendaba about 2 years ago. They invited me as a guest speaker. And I was sitting at the podium and just looking at them. And what came into my mind was Gambia's assets. These are the guys, they are our assets, not us. We are done, we are going, whether we like it or not. But then somebody asked about the three things that you should ask for. You know, I asked myself, what can I do about them? We should always do that. People seems to be so much, you know, entitled. Oh, oh, he didn't do this for me. But what are you doing yourself? So first question was, what can I do? And this is how it came about. You know, out of them actually, if you look at their outfit, the outfit was done by one of them. It was done by Usman Jangha. The male outfit, Usman, you can see Usman designed this, and it's one of them. And the female was also done by one of them, who is Mam Kodu Dabo. Where's Mam Kodu? So you see, so we have talents. And now let me also, whilst on design, just again applaud Yaus Konate for designing the ladies. You see all the ladies' jackets that we have with the ser, those ones there, it was done by Yaus. And then is Os here? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Os is at the back. You saw me my tight-fitted jacket yesterday. He's the one who did it. So it was all done locally. So we need to applaud and just encourage these young ones. So this is all about the TAF Africa Leadership Academy. These 50 are going to graduate today. We opened up for applications, and guess what? By November, we had to close it out because we had 600 applicants. We would like to now probably move the area because in our office, we have a space that can only accommodate about 50. We are looking at a bigger venue and we have to do more because there is demand. So basically, this is it. These are the young ones that I also had the challenge. Let me make like so you can judge the 6-pack challenge. How good am I doing now? I wanted a 6-pack, but it's too expensive for me. I go around the world trying to, watch my weight, go to spa treatments, doing everything possible. But at 63, it's tough, man. But I'm still determined, huh? So let's postpone the decision until next year. So on that note, on a softer note, I don't want to take your show, Pastor. Pastor, you don't need any introduction. By the way, I'm one of his church members. I contribute in his church because he's my younger brother in Methodist Prep, so I am obliged to contribute. That's who Gambia as Gambians. So, Pastor, let me not take your show. Come here. We know what you do best, and you are going to do it excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Pastor Francis Forbes.
He sounded like a pastor. And maybe I should make him one too. Good afternoon to you all, and let me assume all the standing protocols, but certainly to mention the presence of the Honorable Minister of Finance and our own ICC Chief Prosecutor. A couple of years ago, I traveled through Nairobi International Airport, and when the immigration took my passport, they said, Gambia. I said, yes. And then I said, Fatu Bom Bensouda. Said, yes, she gives us a lot of trouble. Thank you, ma'am. And for those of you who don't know her, we who know her, her name is Bom. And all the diplomats, my respects to you all. Thank you so much, TAF, and the lecturers of TAFLA. And from what I observed yesterday, I also want to thank Mrs. Tafnjai, because I hear she must be put in the picture. And to those of you graduating, congratulations to you all. After 1 year of hard work, for your commitment, for your patience, for your consistency, and for your trust. And I emphasize those four because whenever you are chosen to be part of something that's starting, especially when it doesn't have a precedent, you're really not sure what you're going to get, and you feel you're going to be made guinea pigs. But you have a very cherished place in TAFLA because from maybe about 30, 40 of you, it's now exponentially growing to 600, and God knows what 2021 will bring, maybe thousands. And you would always be able to beat your chest to say you were the first. But one of the reasons why I believe you trusted to join TAFLA and why you were brought on board was because of the person behind it. And that's Mr. Mustafa Njai Taf, because of his name, because of his character, because of his integrity, and because of his ability to deliver. And so you are not really bothered whether it was a scam. You will come at 10 and he will show up at 11:30. The lecturers would go and drink. Okay, it's being promoted, so let me not talk about it. Lest the brother man gets upset with me. But the things which seem to be normative in our national life that tend to slow the progress we all so much desire, which progress is a possibility because we see Gambians being celebrated around the world. From Botswana to the Bahamas, from Singapore to all the nations of the world that I've traveled as a preacher, I always find Gambians. And I keep asking them, what are you doing here? You are fixing other places, whereas it looks like our place is not being fixed. Like somebody once said that a Gambian man married a non-Gambian woman. They lived abroad for a long time. And she met through him many, many astute, erudite Gambians. And she was so enthralled at her first visit to the Gambia. And she saw the Gambia then. I don't know which Gambia it was. And she turned to her dear husband and said, why is it that the Gambians that I've met are so advanced that they are more advanced than their country? And so TAF as we can see, has brought up this vision. And the vision in my heart finds a place in a scripture verse in the Bible, which I'll read. It says, a good name is better than precious ointment. Precious ointment is great, it's fantastic, it can cost $10,000, but it will expire. But a good name is generational and transgenerational. And that is why I believe you trusted in TAF. What is leadership? Leadership assumes you know where you are heading. Leadership assumes you know where you are going to. You have what it takes. And that people are going to follow you because you are visionary and you won't wreck their lives and dash their hopes. That's leadership. And so if you call yourself a leader, after some time in your life, you have to physically turn behind. And if there's nobody following you, you're just taking a long walk. You're not a leader. It means there are some qualitative characteristics put in you by mentorship, by apprenticeship, by tutorship, by learning, and the amount of determination and discipline you have in your life to become somebody. It's a joy to celebrate everybody on this high table. And one of the things that I want to say to you quickly, lest I forget, is beyond the achievement of all these Gambian experts and the lecturers who lectured you, and because of who they are, we celebrate them. And for me, the key qualitative characteristic which I see in TAF is humility. It's humility. You walk into his office, it's a glass building. There are no layers of secretaries to see. And if they like you, you'll see him. If they don't like you, they'll tell you he's at a board meeting, but he's watching football on TV. They won't do that. But he's open. And maybe that's his personality, but it's a winning formula. I remember many years ago, I was walking down the UN plaza with my wife, and this big American, it must have been an Escalade or something, parked, and this woman stepped out, and it was Mrs. Bensouda. And we were just like 20 feet behind her. I just said, boom. And she turned, and she said, Francis, and she hugged me. I mean, I could see through the eyes of the security that he wanted to pick me up, maybe spare my wife, and throw me away. But it's humility. And that humility is also indicative. Yesterday, I sat here. I sat at that last chair where the cameraman is. Next to me was Uncle Oko Drame. Next to him was Imam Babali. Now, I had so many other things to do yesterday, so I had to leave. And when I was leaving, I turned to Uncle Oko. I said, please, I need to go. And I turned to Baba. We exchanged pleasantries. And when I walked out there, I heard and I watched through the screen that the TAF icon was Oko. He never told me, boy, Togal, they are about to give me something. See it, Manla. He didn't have that attitude. The humility in his life. I am so sorry I had to leave Uncle Oko, but I'll see you. Congratulations. I think we really need to honor him. But that's the quality you need to have. Last year in the startups, I think a lady with the Islamic headgear won. And I think this year the Moringa man won. Am I right? It would be strange for either of them to say, boy, man millionaire. Because one, if that money is being taxed, you're not a millionaire. And I think it is. And even if it's not being taxed, by the time you start using that money, you'll discover that it's not yours. So humility is key in leadership. I have pastored for 32 years now. And people, when they hear that, they feel that's not true. It's true because I'm 55. I've pastored for 32 years. And I know people who have become pastors because of me. And that scares me. What if I fail? I know people who have asked me, what should I study? I know a lady who walked into my office when she was in high school to report her mother and told me, drive me to my mother's house and tell my mother, this is what I'm going to study. That's a huge responsibility, but it's leadership. It's the weight of leadership. So it means that there are certain prerequisites that you will have to develop over and beyond what you have been lectured so well in now, for us to be able to weigh and judge that what you were taught, you actually internalized it. Number one, it's the principle of self-government and self-control. I know somebody who I tried to help many years ago. The person said they wanted to do business. I gave them a business to do. And after some time, I had to say to the person, you are not business material. Because the person was not self-motivated. And it's not really bad. There are some people who can work within systems that already have a governance structure. So you go to work, you clock, you go on break, you pray, you do what you do, and you close. But once you say, I am chesting out for myself, then you have to have the internal mechanism to wake up on time, the internal mechanism to weigh whatever you get as income in your business, and to be able to delineate what is what I call seed and what is called fruit. So if your first business after this graduation is $100,000 seed, all of it is not for you to eat. It is not fruit. Part of it, and maybe a larger portion, possibly because you have loans to pay, is going to be seed. And when you sow that seed and plow it back into the business, you develop a dynamic of continuity for your business to expand. So you don't buy a car because it's a liability. And men, don't marry now. Or marry again now. And ladies, wait. All the jewels in Dubai will all be there. Have self-government. Be self-motivated. Be patient. Don't eat in the morning what you must eat in the night. Or don't sacrifice on the altar of the now and the pressures and the pleasures of today the long-term gains. When I started Abiding Word Ministries, November 5th, 1988, last century, I walked into an office staff. I wouldn't mention the office. I needed something, and it's bad enough when people look down upon you in a condescending manner. It's worse when they are sitting behind their desk and then they do their glasses like that. He looked at me and he said, "Are you not Forbes?" I said, "Yes. By the way, the surname is Forbes. Francis is the first name, so they got it the wrong way. But that's fine. I am Francis Forbes, not Forbes Francis." And he just said, "What do you think you'll ever do in this country? Why don't you get a job? Blah, 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 blah." I wasn't bothered. And you must not be bothered, because what is priority, preeminent, and prominent, and non-negotiable for you is going to be optional for everybody else. There are people invited here who did not come. It's not their priority. But for some of us, it is a priority. So if you open your shop and you say, "Boy, advertise now, why can you?" It doesn't matter. One fine day, like the bamboo shoot, you will shoot up tall and you'll have more businesses that you can manage. But you have to plan now, prepare now, organize yourself now, because that day is going to come. You need discipline. I introduced my pastor last November as we celebrated our 31st church anniversary, Dr. Mensa Otabil from Ghana. And he's taught me things that cannot feel the 10 fingers. And one of them was, he told me, whatever you do, always start on time. When you start on time, you're going to attract serious people. And I have serious people. So for you graduates, start on time. Open your shop. Don't advertise something at 8 and then you appear at 10:30. And then you have a fatalistic mindset that if God wanted me to buy from you, I will buy from you. No. Then don't say 8 a.m. Say as God wills. Another thing you must learn as graduates is to compartmentalize your life. You can imagine all the things staff does, all the things Antinde Jai does, all the things Mrs. Bensouda does, all the things the Minister of Finance does, all the things UNDP and everybody does, the things I do. Television, radio, speaking here. I have my speaking academy. I travel 8, 7, 9 times in the year in different. I am a husband. I am a father. I am a head pastor. There are many things you do. The answer to it for you is a word, and I hope it's not too big for you. It's called compartmentalization. You have to have compartments in your mind. So when the telenovela is on TV, tell yourself that these people have already made their money. The longer I watch them, the more money they make, the broker I become. So record it and leave it and do your own telenovela so somebody else can watch you. Last year or so, somebody died called Prince. And my sisters and my wife were, you don't know who Prince is? I asked them, does he know me? Does he know me? And in his death, he made more money than I have now that I'm alive. So compartmentalize your life. We each have 24 hours a day. Let me tell you that when you start your business, you're going to get to a critical junction. And let me say this to you all. Everybody can go straight. The winners are the people who know how to take the turns. Because when you take a turn, it's a transition point in your life that can be a make or a break. So let me leave you with a concept that's called leading while you are bleeding. Only leaders can do that. You are leading, you are helping people, you are financing people, but you are broke. Sometimes we are preaching, but we are sick. And we are sweating and people think that he's a good preacher. It's malaria breaking out of our body. So you must learn to lead, graduates, while you are bleeding. Sometimes you have no money. So when we started our church, even glasses to drink were from my mother's house. But it's a different story today. There is this captain of a ship, the story is told about him. And I hope you can relate to this. Whenever his ship was in the waters and he saw a pirate ship coming, he would call his soldiers and say to them, bring me my red shirt. Because in his mind, as he fought with these pirates and they hurt him, the color of his blood, which is supposed to be red, will merge with the color of his shirt so that his sailors will not be afraid and see that they have wounded their captain. Every time the pirate ships came, he called for his red shirt. Until a day, 10 pirate ships came. Then he called for his brown trousers. I hope that hasn't flown over your head. Gradients, I believe you've moved from skill, from talent to skill. You have been skilled. And that bridge has not closed. It's a continual mentorship process. When I said to somebody last year that my pastor is coming, he turned to me and said, you have a pastor? I said, yes, I do. Remember many years ago preaching in Baltimore, and the bishop said to me, you have a pastor? I said, yes. He said, he better be darn good. And I said, well, I am the smoke, but he's the fire. Continue the mentorship. Never arrive. Mentorship's success is a function of your level of determination and some things you've given yourself as non-negotiable things. Ladies and gentlemen, I walked here with this, and maybe everybody thinks I have gifts for the Gradians. I don't. But I have a lesson. These are wristbands. These are wristbands. These are wristbands. These are wristbands. Okay, let me take my phones. And all these are wristbands. Every year in our church, we have a theme for the churches here, and we print these wristbands in the US. And here they are, 1 year. Doc, can you help me? Can you look at this? What does it say?
Manifested purpose.
Are you sure?
Manifested purpose.
Look at the second word carefully after manifested.
Poros.
It says poros. We bought and printed all these in the US for the church just to find out that we made a mistake. For you, don't ever go telling people Bahnani, Nanko manage, or Nanko Tipex. You add PBC. For those of you who don't understand, I'm saying don't ever go anywhere and tell them we'll manage with it, we'll T-Pex it or put the Chinese cap and put a P. Here they are, 700. Cost us a lot of money. But in our thinking of excellence and qualitative service delivery, if it's not good for me, it is not good for you. We are not sending this to the children in the village who might want it and say, let's turn it inside out. Some of them glow in the night. But I've kept this, and every time TAF I have an opportunity to talk about this, I bring them out. You're looking at $750. So we had to print them all again and put the P. You want leadership, you want to be proud graduates and alumni and associates of TAF with the quality that he carries, with his family name, with the integrity that attracts this cadre and level of people. You have to have a non-negotiable, excellent service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, if people come to your restaurant and they say there is a little hair, ladies' hair on the food, don't start arguing and fighting. You put it there, you don't put it there, you don't have the money, you can't pay me. No. While you are doing that, you may find that all the other people sitting there just get up and leave. Is it worth your fighting for one strand of hair at the expense of your reputation? Especially now that we have TripAdvisor. So here they are. We will never use them. Are you ready to pay that price? If you are in construction, you never know how great a Gambian building is until you want to lay carpets. They never fit at the corner. Because you tell them 92.5, they do 92, and they say, bah nani. Kendo kogis. But your gisngako, your hamgako, you know. But the joy today is just listening to the different interfaces, and you become the people who will help. We have things working for us in this country. I remember the first time I announced that a university was going to be built, I was excited. Yes, we had apprehensions as to its possibility. The reason I was not apprehensive and excited was that I felt we were going to stop hearing this phrase, "Nyunyoja janga, yana nyoja ham," or the foreigners are taking our jobs, because we will also be taught critical thinking with an analytical mind and get to TAFLA and be lectured with people whose lectures are worth credits in universities. So you get a good diploma. And so you see interfaces, people who have been Bank of America vice presidents, people who have done major things, they have come here. They are you, and you are they, if you choose to do what they did. That's a story about a man whose son wanted to play basketball, but he was short. The basketball hoop was about 3.5 meters, and every time he tried to throw the ball, it wouldn't go. And he was frustrated. His father told him, "Don't worry, son, one day you'll get it." After many months, he runs into the house and says, "Daddy, I've done it, come and see." And he's shooting and he's dunking because he cut the pole short to his height. Many years ago, that was called affirmative action. It's not going to help you. You have to rise up to the bar. You have to be determined that nobody's going to give me a free meal. These lectures you've gotten from these people, listen to them over and over again. 10 years down the line, let us hear that Mr. Shola Mahoney was buying something and he was told it's all paid for. I said, "Who?" Said, "Sir, you won't remember me, but you lectured me at TAFLA." Do them proud. Do the institution proud. As I wrap up, let me say that please go out and show Gambia and the world what you are made of. You've been given toolboxes and a roadmap. It's all in your hands. People celebrate me almost everywhere I go. It's 32 years. Ups and downs, failures, betrayals, my own mistakes. But keep the end in your mind. You cannot get it all overnight. And unlike TAF, and excuse me to say that, you are not going to be made in another country. A lot of our Gambian stars, excuse the word, were made out of. He was thrown out from his country and landed in Nigeria. Incidentally, that's where I went to university. And I like to say this because it was a shock for me. We flew together from Banjul, got into Lagos. I checked into a hotel. He did what he was doing. Then he called me and said, Pastor, our flight has been cancelled. We're taking another flight. He actually bought my ticket. I've been trying to pay him since. He has refused. And I like it. He's my member. So we flew together to Port Harcourt. I was being picked by the church, inviting me. He had everybody picking him up. Then he said, Pastor, come and see our place. Come and pray for us. So I think one afternoon he sent his car. I went there and we were walking on the streets. He was on the left. I was on the right, like his financier. And there were two armed Nigerian mobile policemen. And I turned to him and I said, can you imagine two Gambians being guarded by Nigerian military? He was thrown out, but his vision did not die. And he came back, and it's a global celebration by all means. You are next. You are next. You are next. And the 600 of you that are coming, you are next. But you have to do what he did. Be resolute, because I believe you found your purpose, your vocation, and in spiritual terms, maybe your calling. Be committed. Keep a learning heart. And please be normal, like TAF said. Be normal. If I had walked in here with my religious garb, some of you, chances are you'd be afraid. And so people ask me, so why are you like that? Just be normal. You open your enterprise. I know you have a card. CEO, MDE, plenipotentiary, extraordinary. No. Just put your name. And let me teach you something, graduates, because when you put certain abilities in your card, you limit yourself to what people will want you to do. So if my business card tells you Pastor Forbes or Francis Forbes pastor, and I give it to Mr. Woolabaj, you say, oh no, he's a pastor. But I do many things. And I do them well. So you'll just have Francis Forbes underneath anything you want. Ladies and gentlemen, as I end this afternoon, as you may have heard people say before, when you are actualizing your vision, graduates, go for the best. Take a spaceship if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, go for one of the PJs. If you can't afford it, fly commercial. If you can't afford it, use a helicopter. If you can't afford the helicopter towards your end goal, take a car. If the car cannot take you, take a motorbike. If the motorbike cannot take you, take a bicycle. If the bicycle cannot take you, take your legs. If your legs fail you, crawl. If you crawl, die. As long as you die in the direction of your vision, so they will write on your tombstone, he tried dying, she tried dying. As a graduate of TAFLA, as a graduate of TAF Leadership Academy, he or she tried dying. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Happy New Year. That is my word to you. I love you all. Mwah!
Wow, I
I am not sure I am in the position to speak right now, but that was amazing. And Pastor Forbes, may the Almighty God bless your beautiful mind. Thank you so much for those wonderful words. Right about now, we have a short video highlighting the sessions from the TAF Africa Leadership Academy. So enjoy the video. Thank you.
After having been in business for almost 30 years and seen to be successful both in the Gambia and outside the Gambia, I decided to set up my foundation called TAF Africa Foundation. I was invited by the student union of the University of the Gambia in Tendaba as a guest speaker and a main sponsor. In there, I looked at the crowd and all I saw was, Gambia's future in these young students. For that reason, I came up with an initiative called the TAF Leadership Academy called TAFLA. What I thought at the time was that we needed to get these young people trained by offering them courses over a 12-month period. This we started in January 2019 and chose 12 different topics, lectures given by very prominent Gambians.
All of the transformational changes in the world have been pushed by young people. Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook in his 20s. Bill Gates started battling Microsoft in his 30s. So all the transformational leaders were your age. They were not my age or TAF's age. What TAF is doing is to create that basis because he has learned that that is when transformation happens, the age you're in.
As a transformational leader, you create an enabling environment, you try to work with society. That's a transformational leader.
Visions are those inner bodyguards that prevents you from collapsing your future in the process of building it because you think through the whole process.
When nobody is looking, when there is nobody to say do this, do that, how we are honest enough to say this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what it's all about.
This is done to help bring up these young potential and future leaders with the right values to lead our country into the next decade and beyond.
Sinjai. It is a privilege for me to be here today in my own home. When I'm in Gambia, I'm in Senegal, Senegambia, and you give me a privilege to come back and be among us, one of the finest young people of our continent, the young people of Gambia. Give yourself a round of applause. As you said earlier, you know, I never, spend my birthday away from my family because this is the first time in my life because I'm always traveling around. And today I was supposed to go back to America, but when I got your message last week, again, I said, you know what? The work you do, it's so unprecedented that align with what the pastor talked about earlier with my calling. I've defined earlier, a few years ago, that my calling in life is that I have to play a part in what our founding fathers in Africa has dreamed about. Just 2 years ago, it was not long ago, just 50, 60 years ago, there was some young people like us who traveled to the UK, who traveled to France, who traveled to different parts of the world. Those young people were named the Nkrumahs, the President Jawaras, the Senghors, the Patrice Lumbumba's. And they had some dreams in them that they wanted to come back home after their studies and to do something special for their countries. They wanted to liberate their countries. They wanted to give them independence. They wanted to control the future of our countries. And that, they have succeeded. But beyond doing that, they dreamed about something that some of them never got a chance to see, which is a free Africa, economically, an Africa that our young Mamadou Ofatu from the villages of Kafuta, or in Wakunguna, in Salom, in Kaulak, can have the same opportunity as my son El Haja in Washington, D.C. They dreamed about a day that our politicians can get sick and go to our hospitals in Senegal, go to our hospitals in Banjul, and find the right doctors. A day that maybe people in the UK or in France can take their private jets to come here to find the best doctors in the world. These are the dreams. These are the dreams of my founding fathers and your founding fathers. They dreamed about a day maybe that we, Africa, 60% of the edible land here in the world is here in Africa. And I know that they dreamed about that. That one day, not only we will feed ourselves, but we will feed the world. How come we have the flat land, the sun, the youngest population in the world, but until today we are being fed by other countries that only have 6 months out of the year of sun? There is a problem for that. My brother, this is why I decided to leave Washington, D.C. This is why I decided, my brothers and sisters, with everything that I've acquired, with President Obama, with ACON, with the millions I've made, to go back to my home country in Senegal, in a small village, to buy a land and to farm, to make sure we feed our own self. Because whomever is feeding you is controlling you. And we depend on you. You are the dreams of our grandfathers. You are the ones that we were waiting for. You are the ones who will realize that dream. Among you, we see the future presidents, the future ministers, the future Dangotes, the future Mr. Jais, and etc. And I want you tonight to think about, when you go home, the role you will play in what will transform Africa. No one will come from anywhere in the world to come here and transform the continent for us. And that time is now. It is not tomorrow, it is now. If we can have a young Mark Zuckerberg, he can come up with a Facebook that transforms the world. We can have the future leaders of the world to come right here from Gambia or from Senegal. That's why the work you do is very important. And all of us should support you, should do everything possible to make sure that we know that we appreciate you. Because what you do is the work for all of us, especially you, the diaspora. Some of you watching from the diaspora or here from the diaspora, please think about our young people in the villages who are hopeless, whom I met in Seta. Some from here, Gambia, try to get through the back ways to go chase a dream that doesn't exist anymore in Europe or the United States. The future is here. This is the greatest place to be in the world. Everyone understands. Everyone understands that the future is Africa, but Africans. The Chinese are here, Europeans are here. If you go to Senegal right now, Turkey is there, Russia is here. Everyone understands it, but we don't, but us. And it is our job, us who are up front, to let our young brothers and sisters know. I'm not going to tell you don't travel, because I will travel to the United States. Travel as much as you can. Go as far as you can. Learn as much as you can. But always remember that the end goal is here. We have to build Africa, and now. And Africa needs you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sean, and special birthday wishes to you. My boss is looking at me and I'm smiling already. At this point, I'd like to invite Mr. Abdoulaye Singate to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of his fellow leaders. Put your hands together for Mr. Abdoulaye Singate.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's already good evening already. We're heading towards the later part of the day. But special greetings to Antindai, Pastor. I don't know whether I'm able to say anything much better than the words that you spelled and feed on us. Uncle Taf never told us that the leadership will end today. We thought it ended last Friday. Indeed, we have another session today. So, fellows, let's add that one as well to the 13th session. Thank you very much for those words. So, Uncle Taf, greetings from your boys and girls. To honorable dignitaries, far and wide, diaspora within the Gambia, living your valuable time and spending these precious moments with us from yesterday to today. Greetings to you. My name is Abdoulaye Singate, one of the TAFLA fellows for the first cohort, final year student at the University of the Gambia. Briefly, I want to say something on our long journey with TAF Africa Global. It's been an amazing ride from last year, 2018 to 2019, up to today. You look and reflect, you tend to say it's been 1 year, how fast, how quick it has been. But I just want to say it has been a very big marathon for all of us. A lot of sacrifice has been put in place. It's been a process of being practical, it's been a process of being very visionary, which goes to Mr. Panjai here. From the very moment we met, in the year 2018, I can say around September, towards the end of the year, how busy the schedules are. We met as students of the university to discuss with him how best for our student union to make sure that we take a week-long program that we call the Students' Week. From that great initiative, just a click from it, just an email, he just replied to say, Abdoulaye, and copied his entire team. Can we have a meeting from next week on the 20th by 2 p.m.? Within 5 minutes of the meeting, he finalized what he wanted to do with us. He said, Tom, your idea is brilliant. I'm going to give to commit $400,000 to the University of the Gambia. That really stood out for us as young leaders representing the University of the Gambia. We commit ourselves to say there are a lot of young Gambians, there are a lot of Gambian businesses going on in this country. But having to write letters to many sectors, but he came up, then we have to make him proud. Come to the 5th of January in Tendaba, upon his arrival, we had the squad band to welcome Uncle TAF with his delegation, with our university authorities, with everyone, other stakeholders, ministers from government, and other key stakeholders. Mr. TAF got really pleased and made a commitment that we have to take this forward. Taking it forward is what brought us to a day like this. Thank you very much, Mr. TAF. Quickly after the Students' Week, Uncle TAF took us for a dinner, the leadership of the University Student Union. From that dinner, we brainstormed. The idea was wrong, we had no idea, but the vision was we have to move this to another level. How can he connect back from his last quarter to the second quarter? We are the second quarter, but he is the last quarter. To connect to these quarters, Mr. TAF said, now we have a Leadership Academy. From the session we had with on innovation, or on future vision, to his last moments last week on Tafcon, every moment has been special. A lot of resources have been spent, a lot of energy been spent. It's been amazing to see our colleagues here, my fellow TAFLAs, to commit a Sunday, every Sunday, last Sunday of the month, to have specific sessions. It was an amazing privilege for us to be able to have one of the best Gambians ever you could ever imagine, mounting amazing platforms in the African continent and other parts of the world to fly into this country and have special sessions with us. This we consider a privilege. This we consider something that we will never forget in our life. Uncle TAF, as we open here today and leave this store, it's like a rank is open and animals are out to go out. So now whether you go out to fetch for us, or what we do on our own, absolutely determines the future of this country, the future of Africa, and the future of the world. My fellow friends. When we say thank you to Uncle TAF, we can say thank you, without saying thank you to the gallant team that's behind Mr. TAF. We have Hussein, we have Hassan, we have Bajen, and all the other people, the TAF, Sawane, Alpha, and all the others who started the entire journey with us. The first cohort is really appreciated for the great work you've done. We can see that you also left your weekends to be with us, to guide us, to run after us. When we go out for quick breaks, I see how all of you will come for us to make sure that we go and the session continues. On behalf of my fellows, we say, we really appreciate this. We say thank you very much to Selu and Hassan and the entire team for those kind of great things that you did for us. To the audience that are here today, I can say we are the right part. Because here, this what we wore today is designed by a TAFLA fellow. I can attest to the fact that 2 years to come, all of us, if not, a very good number, will run into him as one of the best entrepreneurs in this country. We have Usman Janga here, who designed this outfit. The innovation that we taught during our lesson is already rolling in his head, and I know that applies to all the TAFLA fellows here. Something great will come out of from the lessons we learned. Already Usman is someone who is applying. We have Mankodu, we have economists, we have mathematicians, we have nurses and doctors. People mounting big positions in this country that are part of this fellowship. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people that you will see at round tables, indoor meetings, board meetings within this country, moving out of this office today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow. These are people are going to take up this country. To conclude, I would just want to say, it's been an amazing period to assess ourselves with Uncle TAF. We are sorry for taking your weekend away from you. We are sorry for putting you to test with the 6 packs. But definitely, we've really learned a lot. And never before Because for your informal moments with us were really the best moments that we had. Fellows, am I right? One of the key words that we learned with him was Nyamba. Nyamba Yabuse. So this is a word of profile that he always shares with us. We have a lot of amazing moments with him, and this is something that we cherish forever. To the upcoming ones coming, those who are here and they have applied, be rest assured of an amazing journey, of an amazing 1 year that you're going to take. It takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of sacrifice, being in your final year or in your, in the university, to be able to commit your time and resources to go to the TAFLA sessions, especially on a Sunday and midday. Our Christian brothers will have to rush to church and later join us to make sure that they make it to the TAFLA session, to show you how valuable, how grateful we are. Uncle Taf, Jarama.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdullah. My job here is officially done. But before I hand over to Uncle Taf to officially close this gathering, I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you and your entire team for again giving me the opportunity to host Tafcon. I am appreciative of this kind gesture. And just to inform you that I and my team of 5 women will obviously be available to MC all of your events when the need arises. So feel free to take my contact or card whenever you're ready. Thank you so much. Uncle Taf, you're welcome, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Great. I think everything has been said. I mean, certain things, if you add it on, it will just spoil the soup. So we need to wrap up now. But before we wrap up, I mean, somebody told me there is a guy who also had another portrait for me. I'm getting so surprised with portraits these days. But I found out they make me look more handsome than the reality. But whilst we're doing that, I have really friends who are calling me for this celebration. And I'm pleased about it. I mean, people who are close to me do know that I have taken something from my mom. And what they say is that, don't be good there. It's my help. All this going around is just about health. Sorry, it's about celebration. And I tell them what I did with you. In Nigeria, I do health and celebrations in different styles. Enos mom passed away. And in Nigeria, when somebody elderly passes away, you celebrate. So me and my partner, Alpha, we had to go to Akwa Ibom, and join Eno, in the burial. And I was telling her when she came 2 days ago, that the best part of the burial was the after party. We had a nice after party. You remember the young lady who was playing the saxophone? But that's my Nigerian side, huh? In Nigeria, when you cross a certain age, after burial, we party. And we party very well. I think just wrapping up. Thank you so much. I mean, these are the things that happen in life, whilst you think that you are trying to do good, there are some, who will do better than you. Let me see, Babakar is crossing the ferry, so let me just put this off quickly. I want to use something on my phone. Because I just want to call out the list of personalities, who are on their way. Some are flying in today, some are on the ferry. From Nigeria, I have Taiwo Adesina, who comes for a law firm. They are lawyers in Lagos. And then we have Mahmoud Tukur. Mahmoud is one of my directors, but the CEO and MD of Eluno Oil, some oil and gas people. Then Mr. Basil Omi, Basil is the chairman of Stanbic IBTC. He's also he's my chairman actually in Nigeria. I will tell you that in Nigeria, something that you need to learn in my expansion in Africa, I never take more than 55% of my business. I share. And that's one lesson to learn. If you want me to expand in Africa or anywhere, always go for local partnership. So for me, it's a law when I get into a place, I look for very credible locals and partner with them. So my chairman is a very strong guy. I mean, those who come from Nigeria know that he's a super big boy. So when they speak, people listen. So he's the chair and he's flying in tonight, Mr. Basil Omiyi. And then coming with the wife, Mrs. Mary Omiyi. Mr. Mutu Sumonu, also who was the managing director and chairman of Shell Africa, is also flying in. And he's the chairman of Julius Berger in Nigeria. He's also one of my directors. And coming in with his partner, Ms. Ekiti Okoro. Dr. Osanatpo, SAN, when we say SAN, it means Queen's Counsel, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You know now, Bob, that's your area. Huh? He's a partner and also a lawyer, our lawyers, and he's also flying in. Didier Akwete is coming from Togo. Didier, you know Didier, huh? Was it Africa Search? Yeah, he's also coming from Togo. And MKO Bologun from Nigeria, he knows our facilities management, so he's coming in. Babakar, as I said, he's coming with across the ferry now, with Babakar Ngom of Sedima. You know Babakar Ngom, if you're in Senegal, you know Babakar Ngom of Sedima. He's also an old-time friend. We all, went across the continent as young entrepreneurs. Also coming is Ibrahim Sheikh Jong. They're driving together. Ibrahim is a good friend of mine, and we partner a lot. Taibo Mbai is also coming in tomorrow. Taibo of Mazar, he's the senior partner of Mazar in Senegal. And together with Mustafa Njai Notaire. I hope I haven't left any of my good ones. I just want for the records that, I asked them, I told them that, look, it's best if you come in and be here for Thursday. So they would have been here, but they're quite busy. So I want to for leaving, everything behind to come and join us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are at the very end, and I just want to say a very big thank you. I mean, when you are sitting there, you will not realize how big this is. You actually appreciate it better sitting here. And yes, Madam Bensouda, you are right. This is the best we have had. So I feel good, I feel proud, and it's because of you. I mean, starting from the media, you can see the production here. This is top notch. We can blow our own trumpet. We can have this in Washington. You can have this in Japan. But yes, we're in the Gambia. Yesterday, actually, I was very emotional when I went to ease myself in the bathroom. Have you been in the bathroom? All branded. I didn't know what was going on. But that's how good my team is. My team deserve a loud applause. Actually, and you don't know how they get connected, because as we operate, we have a team in Nigeria. I mean, there are people here who are from Nigeria. I have one of our members of staff who is now in Turkey, Alpha. Alpha is in Turkey or Cyprus. We sent him on training in Cyprus. Alpha is streaming all this while he's there. And that is technology today. We don't all need to be in this room to make things happen. So I think I owe a very big word of gratitude to my team. I have a team. That's what I've worked for, sweated for all my life. And it's evident. You will not believe the things that are happening. As we say, people from Neka, everything they pray for is chat. We had a chat. We had a chat actually with this program. You know what? We had a 40-page brochure. 40-page, nicely done. Actually, the guy who was designing here had issues, so we had to fly in somebody from Nigeria. And that's what we do. We don't take excuses. So we flew in a graphic designer, Joshua. I'm sure he's still here with us. Where's Joshua? We flew Joshua from Nigeria just to come and do the design for the brochure. And this was sometime in early part of December. And then we didn't want to print it here. We printed it in Turkey. And then 800 kg of brochures, we wanted to fly it in. So it was with TNT, whatever. I think they shipped it before Christmas. But guess what? Today is the 8th, it's not here. But again, that's a lesson to learn from these kids. When Usainu and Hassan, who are my generals, you see them all around me, my nephews, you see them, they are my generals. Yesterday, one of them was so upset. And this is something I want to also take away. Patience. And again, you have your intentions, our good intentions. We spent a lot of money to bring it here. We did everything possible. But lolu moy chat. So it's not here. I take it lolu na neka chat. But in life also, and again giving you my own experience, at times you push for things, but there's a reason why it shouldn't be here. So you need to realize as youngsters that, well, okay, I've done everything possible. And honestly, we did everything possible to get the brochures here. But there's nothing more we can do. And that's the other part of me. I chill out. When I cannot really do it, I just say, okay, that's not meant to be, and please take that away. Whilst I say thank you, there are 3 things I want to take away with you. 1, be patient. 2, be tolerant. 3, be contented. Doylu. Doylu. What is now killing us is greed. We need to have a limit to say it's enough. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Fatubom, we have to give you, special thank you. We know what you're going through. You've left everything possible. Everything that you were doing, you were not here for New Year. So you flew in purposely just for this. But you've done it for your country. We know you're doing a lot of things around. Yes, you are breaking the glass ceiling, but words cannot just express how grateful we are. And I'm sure everything that you've done here will be remembered by these young ones. So thank you so much. We're most grateful. To all our international guests, we say a very big thank you. The party still go on, enjoyment still goes on, but we say thank you. My sisters, my brothers that, took time to be here. My friends, family, loved ones, words cannot just stop. Finally, again, I'm going to direct. I thank my dear wife. The best part of me and my wife is that we could go job. So now go buy it. But we complement each other. We're different. She's really giving me space for what I do. She gave me a lot of space. I fly around, I go everywhere. And I will quote you. When Eno was celebrating her 46th birthday, Eno flew in here. And she was one of the first who did her birthday at Cohort. In style, Nigerian style. Ovation magazine covered it. And you can see Eno, because I embarrass you. You can see how beautiful she is. And Eno came with all these beautiful ladies, just to come and celebrate. And I offered her immediately to host a party at my house. So I went to Jati and said, look, I've got my friends here. And I've already given my word to host a party. And then she goes into the kitchen and it starts. And that's how she's been with me. Anybody I bring home, she looks after them. So she owes the final thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, THANKYO